So good morning to all of you. Before we start today's session, please feel free to do event check-in. This will give you access to additional resources and information about events that we are running on Reactor, which are around similar topics to today's session. I will share the event check-in link with the event ID in the Q&A section shortly. Thank you all once again for joining us today. My name is Rashmita and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 60 minutes, including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel within 3 to 4 days. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Quick word on a code of conduct. We display this at all Microsoft Reactor events that we run, and it's just a reminder to be aware of others. Key thing to take out here is to be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Swami, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspirant software architect and currently he works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swami to begin the session. Over to you, Swami.
Thanks, Rashmita. Just to add on top of that is I'm still a learner. On top of the introduction, whatever you have given. Okay, thanks so much, guys. I know my quality of jokes are a little lower in quality. I'll go ahead with some tech talk. Thanks so much for joining. This is my GitHub, and the entire source code will be available. I do practice code every day, even though a small for loop or if condition, whatever I'm adding, I'm trying to add it. So for this Microsoft Reactor, the entire source code will be here in this GitHub, like session 1, session 2, session 3. So all the source code will be available. So we can purely focus only on the tech talk, and you guys have everything. Whatever I'm showcasing, it is there, and you guys can reach me in the same Reactor meetup group, and we can discuss something. If I don't know, I'll just go learn and I'll get back to you, but sure, I will get back to you. So this is the session 3, and this is today's session, 13th October. And I think I have to show that PowerPoint also. How are we proceeding? So I'll keep this here for a moment, and let's see that how are we progressing. As we mentioned, it is purely from the hands-on perspective on AZ-204. So we have got tons and tons of materials, the training courses, the video courses, and MS Learn. A lot of places, MS Learn, they give a pretty good hands-on demos and labs, and everything is provided. So my intention was to, I did practice when I was writing my certification. I did practice going through a lot of video courses and MS Learn, practice exams, a lot of things I did it. So all those experience, I'm just collecting it and presenting the way I learned it. So initially when we started our session, it was just we spoke about Web API and did this. And then in the next session, what did we do is we added few other components like a SQL server and Web API talking to the SQL server. Little bit of security, not much, but as and when we grow old in this series, we'll implement that one too. And the next thing is in this episode or session, what we do is we are adding 2 different virtual machines. And in the next episode, the next episode after 15 days, that we will add the applications here and then talk to the application from here till here. We can host a .NET API and Blazor Wasm here. These two talk, and MVC or Razor application here go and talk to 3 from here till here. So we'll do different options, and because today the traffic is slow, we might redo this session again, but we'll see that at least like a Q&A or something like that. Okay, so that's the thing. So as and when we grow old or we'll start learning new topics, what we do is we'll add that into this block diagram or architecture. I don't want to call this an architectural diagram, but a block diagram. So at least we learn to a decent extent, like how can this be used, at least a hello world kind of thing. Okay. So that's the thing. And I'm still a learner. Apologize if I do any mistake. So first, what are we going to do today? So we are going to discuss or have a high level introduction about virtual machines, what a virtual machine is, why do we need a virtual machine, and then we'll go. So the way we are learning is, first we went ahead and deployed the apps into the app service, and we didn't know what is behind, like there's a PaaS, platform as a service. We'll come back with those block diagrams and other things next. I am just holding it for us to first learn something without even knowing what it is. Let's create it and then we'll learn from there. So we added this one. And now we are creating a virtual machine, and we are punching the hole in the firewall and then deploy the application and allow external traffic to access it. Now then we can compare, okay, what it takes to deploy a app on a virtual machine versus what it takes to deploy in an app service. What are the pros and cons? When do we need to choose A over B? So these kind of things will be able to correlate and discuss. Okay. So we'll create different flavors, and we can see that as and when we are growing old, we are not even opening the Azure portal. We are directly using all the scripting or an automation tools to create, and that is much faster and predictable until unless we use the same name and the resource already exists. It throws an error on our face. Apart from that, we'll learn. And also we are seeing the uh, varieties or different options available to us. Like initially we'll start creating a Ubuntu virtual machine and install nginx using PowerShell, then create a Windows virtual machine, install IaaS using PowerShell, then same, this time little bit change in flavor. We are installing the LAMP server, and then again IaaS, and then creating the Ubuntu virtual machine using ARM template and Windows virtual machine using ARM template. And and always when we are using the Ubuntu virtual machine, we are not using passwords, we are using SSH keys. So we'll learn about SSH keys also. And now we understand that when you're deploying a app on Windows, what is happening behind the scenes. So you see that, okay, there is a virtual machine and there is an IaaS and they're creating a website. In the next episode, after 15 days, when we do the fourth session of this, we ourselves will go create a website in IaaS and install all the components and then deploy the app and punch the hole in the firewall and access it outside. So that much of efforts will go into deploy in a virtual machine. Now, when you use an app service, we don't need to sweat at all. So all our blood, sweat, and tears are being saved. All we need to click a button and it gets deployed. So now we'll enjoy the benefits, and we see that how much work has been offloaded from our plate to Microsoft plate. They're taking that and they're deploying it. So that's when we can know the true benefits. There might be use cases where we definitely need the virtual machine and deploy it for security reasons or for the proprietary things and a lot of other things, but we will discuss about that. Okay, as usual, you already boarded a express train. Please fasten your seat belt. Okay, so we'll come and we'll start discussing this. So as we can see that every time we'll come to this Microsoft Learn site or the syllabus, and then we'll go from there. So I'm planning in a different way so that we can know that we went and deployed it here, and again we are coming back to this one and then doing a compare and contrast, and then we'll move forward. So this is the section deploy website to virtual machines. So under this section, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this we will keep it for the next session, but today at least to a decent extent we'll discuss all these things. So compile a checklist for creating the virtual machine. So what do we have here? So we can start with this one. So what are the resources which is involved while we create this virtual machine? Okay, we'll just go through that. 1 second, I made a notes. Yeah, this one, I made a notes of this. Okay, so the first thing is this regions. We'll mix both my notes and this one. So the region. So where are you placing your virtual machine? That is very important, because if your users or customers, they are in European region, so better we place our virtual machine very near to that European region, just to avoid the latency. Now, suppose we know that our customers are from Kanyakumari or Bombay, so we'll place those virtual machines very near to that, so that they'll have very less latency. And another reason is not all kinds of resources are available in every region. So there might be a virtual machine of a kind, like maybe I'm taking an example, CentOS or something, Ubuntu 20 version that's available in South India, but it's not available in Central India when you try to deploy it. It could be that. And another thing is in different regions, based on different regions, they might charge differently. So that also we have to consider. So if you're trying to, hypothetically, I'm giving you this example, like if you're trying to place a virtual machine in European region, they might charge 10 rupees per hour. And if you go to Eastern American region, North American region, they might charge 9.5 rupees per hour. So there might be little bit charges because of the whatever the reasons. So these all things, first thing we should consider the region. And next thing is we should consider about the VM images. So VM images is the pre-configured OS bundle with basic configuration. Those images, what image we want to choose. And VM sizes will come, and these things are there. Okay. So the second thing what we have to do is like start with the network, VM name, decide a location, determine the size, pricing model, storage, and select the operating system. So we'll just introduce this, and again we will revisit things as we are doing again and again. So we will first create a virtual network and we'll have the address space and routing table. We'll come back to that little later. And the next thing is we will segregate the network, because even though we have a single virtual network, we might create subnets and place our virtual machines in each of the subnets. Why do we need subnets? One of the couple of examples I can give you, like we have the app servers, subnets we'll create and we'll place all the applications in that. And we can create another subnet for the middle tier and another subnet for the backend. And the traffic to this app tier, the middle tier, will be allowed only from the subnet from the UI tier. So the first is UI tier subnet, middle tier subnet, and database tier subnet. The third subnet, the traffic to the third subnet is allowed only from the middle subnet, the second one. So the middle tier can hit the database, but UI IP addresses will block. We don't allow that. We will whitelist only the middle tier's IP address. And another reason why do we need subnet is just to separate those virtual machines. Like some of the clients, what they are using, they are not having the physical machines. They are hosting everything in the cloud, so that they will allocate this to different users or the employees who work. They complete their day-to-day jobs, like they install the softwares and everything in the cloud. You will have a very base machine laptop, and you log in to the Azure virtual machine and you work there. So they will say that, okay, department A's virtual machine will be in one subnet, department B's virtual machine in another subnet. That's a third scenario. Okay. Then the virtual machine name, and also we have seen that naming convention in the session 1 and to a decent extent in session 2 also. Always use the naming convention. Microsoft has given pretty big documentation, and lots and lots of guidance has been provided, and which makes more sense to use that naming convention. So please follow that naming convention. Okay, so Azure resources. So what is comprised of this Azure virtual machine? So why do we need this Azure virtual machine? So suppose if you want to host an application, so some social media application, you want to host it on your on-premise or a private data center. So for that, we need a physical machine. And that physical machine, we need to place an order, and the director of software architecture goes to the rooftop and get the approval, and then we need to place an order and purchase it and place it somewhere in our office or in a private data center of our office, and we'll host that one. So the time it takes for an approval, and the time we get it and we deploy the softwares and security patches and ensure that all the firewalls has been blocked and punch only the holes which needs, like port 80 or 443, something like that. It takes heavy investment there. Now, if we need, and also let's assume that we bought a virtual machine with 4 GB RAM and 250 GB hard disk. We thought that that is enough. The moment we bought it and we figured it out that that is very low, we are not at all able to scale. Then we need another 4 GB RAM and another 250 hard disk. Again, we need to place it. So it's all pain. Now, that does not mean that we can't live with that. That's how the world was working all the time. So now what is the benefit is, like, let's assume that we want to spin, even though approvals and everything is there. Let's assume we were able to spin a virtual machine in Azure. And we saw that initially we took a B series or a D series, shared series, or a F tier free, like that, a small virtual machine we have taken. We'll come back to the sizes in a moment. So the moment we deployed the application and we tested, it is not scaling up. So what it takes to do a scale up, we can go and configure, increase the size from lower to higher. It takes only few minutes, less than a minute or two, not more. So you can scale. Assume that you took a premium series virtual machine, and that premium series virtual machine was costing too very high. And then to scale it, we did some quick test and we were able to complete our test. And then we want to scale it down, we can do it within a minute. Imagine a scenario, we bought 1 TB hard disk and 32 GB RAM machine to our office, and we did some experiment. After experiment, we don't need that virtual machine at all, or we need only half of the capacity. What we will do, we can't ask the seller to take 50% of this and give it back. So here it is possible. So like that, we need all these things. We need a virtual machine, we need a storage account, we need virtual network, and we need network interface card to communicate in the network, and we need a network security group, and we need a public IP address. We'll discuss on that. Okay, the location, we spoke about the location because the resources might not be available, and we want to keep it very close to the customers. Okay, and determine the size. Here is the size where we can go ahead and look into that, like a general purpose or a compute optimized, memory optimized, storage, GPU, high performance. I mean, each has got like memory optimized, great for relational database, like compute optimized, suitable for medium traffic web servers and network appliances, batch processes. Like general purpose is small to medium databases and just for testing. This one, like GPU for gaming, heavy graphics one. Uh, what if my size change needs? It's very simple, as we discussed a couple minutes ago. You just go and scale it up or scale it down. It's pretty simple, and we will get charged only for the hours or minutes which we have used on the higher range. Okay, understand this pricing model. Okay, so you can see that the compute expenses are priced on per hour basis, but billed on per minute basis. Let's assume that we have used 100 GB, 100 GB RAM and 5 TB hard disk. Hypothetical numbers I'm giving. Okay, so 100 GB RAM and 5 TB hard disk. That kind of virtual machine we have used for 2 hours, and then we scaled it down to 4 GB RAM and 250 GB hard disk. So it will be charged only for hourly, but how many minutes we have used that virtual machine will be billed only for that. Okay, so you can do pay as you go, and reserved instance will come back. I just parked it for the next week because I just parked it for this next week, the spot instance. That's what I parked it for the next week. Okay, storage for the VM. Why do we need storage for the VM? So few years ago, at least couple of years ago, I know, we used to have our own OS hard disk. That's what OS hard disk. We used to have it in our Azure storage. To create a virtual machine, we definitely need to have the storage account previously, because we used to maintain the unmanaged hard disks, that was OS disks unmanaged. So that means we have to take responsibility of that, and that will be stored inside a storage account. And if someone goes and deletes that, our virtual machine will not boot. So a lot of those kind of problems was there. Now what Azure did is they said that we are providing the managed hard disk. All the newest virtual machine are coming with the managed disk only. Until unless you want to take extra work, you have extra energy and you want to maintain this disk, you can take it as a unmanaged disk. But suggested thing is this one, and you can see that the benefits also. A single storage account has a fixed rate limit of 20,000 IOPS, input output operations per second. So that was also one of the limitation. Now these guys are taken care of that and they're scaling it out. So best to go ahead with this. And the storage account is needed. Once we create a virtual machine, we have a one OS disk and one temporary data disk. On top of that, if we need additional disks, that's when we need it. We'll have a storage account where we will have this data disk stored there. Uh, and selecting the operating system. Okay, so we'll just get our fundamentals little bit more, and then we will start with hands-on. I just want to ensure that, okay, this I'm parking it for the next session. Okay, so what all the options do we have? So we have Azure Resource Manager, where we can go and deploy the virtual machines. We have Azure PowerShell, and we have Azure CLI. Definitely, we are going to look into those three methods. And we can use the Azure REST API, and we have Azure Client SDK. So you can write a creation of this virtual machine, whatever we are using through ARM templates or PowerShell or Azure CLI. We can use this C#, Java, Node.js, PHP, Python, Ruby, Go. They all have this. So we can write programmatically. Okay, we have the Azure Automation Service, and also we can configure and install additional software using Azure VM extensions. That is mostly towards 104 series exam. Okay, but at least this Azure SDK, Azure REST API, Azure CLI, PowerShell, and ARM. So at least from the syllabus perspective, ARM, PowerShell, and Azure CLI, these three are very important. And do we need to mug up all these options? No. The only thing is we have to know that we will be able to do this, and some related commands on that one. And the exam, we can correlate, like, see, if you see the creation of PowerShell commands, if you see that new AZ-VM, and here you see AZ-VM create. So let's come and see that AZ VM create. Okay, so if you see this one, we'll see all the related things. The terminology will be pretty much same. So if you see that AZ-VM create, okay, AZ-VM delete, okay, create, delete. So somewhere it could be modify. So that's how we need to understand that, okay, this is how the command exists. Okay, something, anything starting with that Azure virtual machine, it start with Azure virtual machine. So AZ-VM list and AZ-VM monitor. And I think repair, resize, restart, remove is there, stop, update. So this is how we can find out, like AZ-VM, Azure AZ CLI virtual machine. So create, delete, restart, list. So that means definitely the first two words is AZ-VM and then it comes. So similarly, if you go with the PowerShell also, it will be pretty much the same things like Azure new AZ-VM and new get AZ-VM, like we'll get the instance of that virtual machine and see at a high level what else do we need. We need the resource group, we need name, location, virtual network, subnet, security group, public IP address, open ports. So these are all things which we have seen here, what all the things which we needed in this block, where we have seen that what all the things which we need when we are creating it. See this is pretty much what all the things which we need, those options we are giving. Okay, I think let's go and okay, that's about a little bit. Okay, so few things which we will spend 5 minutes more to see how can we search images. So one of the things what we can do is, this is all the scripts are there, guys. So you can focus. Okay, already just to save the time, I have created this. That's CLI. I want to I want for PowerShell, so that it will be easy for us to switch between these two. Okay, so I'll come back over here. I'll take these variables, the PowerShell. Like I can use version number if you want to. Version number, we know that that version number has been saved. Now you can see different things. You saw that? So it gives all the available publishers. Okay, select publishers name in that East US location. So like that we can go and specifically see that. So now if I want to search specific Windows machine, the publisher. So we have this thing. Now if I want to search Ubuntu Canonical, so I can pretty much come and I can execute that. That shows me that what all the Canonical which is available in central US. Like if I want to see that whether anything is available in East. So we have the same. So sometimes there might be different. It may not be available, but that's how. Okay. So if you want to select the offers, you can try these options. Uh, okay, see this. These are the things which are available, and these are from the SKUs. And like if I select from the Ubuntu perspective, all these commands I'm executing in one go. So those are the offers, and if you can see this, the different SKUs available. Ubuntu 12.x all the way till 19.x. Okay, and you can see that what all the things which are available under 18.4 LST. You can see that offer is Ubuntu server, SKUs are this one, and publisher is Canonical. And we have all these things. So that's how we can search. And we'll spend some time just to go through this, but we will not create any virtual machine through portal today, but we will do everything through PowerShell and everything through that. Okay, PowerShell. We'll create a virtual machine. We'll see that to a decent extent before we start hitting the PowerShell CLI and other things. So you can see that there are a lot of other pre-built virtual machines which are available. We can directly click on that, or if you want to create our own, we can go ahead and click on create. So what do we have here? We have the subscription and resource group and instant details where we need to give the virtual machine name. I'm giving some name so that it should be unique. And the region, as we discussed, there could be multiple things. The kind of virtual machine or the OS which we are taking, this might not be available. And the image, we can see that we have tons and tons of images which are available. You can see all the images, and we can get into that, and we can have our own images. Either generalized or specialized VHDs, and we can create with our own images also. Okay, that's pretty much from the 10 series, but we pretty much did that. We used to call it as a gold disk. We create a virtual machine and deploy all the application softwares and everything, and we'll create the image out of that. So anytime we need to create another virtual machine, we just create it out of this. So it's like a gold disk, like a Xerox copy, right? This availability options, we'll keep it for the next thing. And here the images are there. Spot instance also will come back to the next one. And here the sizes. These are the recommended sizes, but ensure that the prices are pretty much high. This one standard B1 is 200, and this is bumping up to it's one CPU, and it is 2,300 rupees. But ensure that you're not burning your money. I mean, if it is free credits, you're not burning your free credits, and anything from the office or a project perspective, the company will take care, and the architect will give you the guidance like what should be the instance size and everything. Okay, and these are the passwords we will create for logging in. And inbound ports are something where you're allowing the ports. Do you want to allow anything, or do you don't want to allow anything? Like in this case, external public IPs, none of the public ports are enabled. That means you can deploy this virtual machine in another subnet and another virtual machine within the same network, but it could be in the different subnet or within the same subnet. But that's again purely from the 1.0 perspective. But you should establish a connectivity from virtual machine A to virtual machine B, because none of these virtual machines has got a public IP. So you have to go on a private IP, that is 10 series. We will discuss on that next. And the licensing, if you have your own licensing, you can have this one. It costs little less. And coming to disk options, you can see the what all the options you have. Your premium SSD, standard SSD, and standard hard disk HDD. So the premium SSD is much faster, and SSD is also much faster than the hard disk, regular standard hard disk. So that's the one. And encryption is by default, encryption at rest is there. And Microsoft is ensuring that they are managing the keys. And until unless we have our own team which maintains this keys, we might have the HSM module, hardware security module, which a lot of big companies, they use it for managing the keys. Until unless we have such kind of big team with us, uh, better to go ahead with Microsoft because we'll not be having those many resources and team as Microsoft has to maintain these keys. Okay. And enable ultra disk compatibility, that also will park it for now. And this is related to the operating disk. So there will be one operating disk and one temp disk, and never ever store anything on the temp disk. That might get deleted at any time. But if you need more of the additional disk, we can go ahead and create this one. We can create and attach. Just you can see that. This is the name of this one, and the source type is empty disk or coming from a snapshot or a blob storage. If an existing thing is there, we can create a snapshot from there. You can use a snapshot, or a blob is stored in the storage account. That's what we discussed previously. Any data disk, we will store it in storage account. We can take it from there and attach. And here you can see this here, number of performance tiers and the provision input output operations, IO operations per second. So if you go ahead with 1024 GB, it is 5000 IOPS, and at the same time you will be charged. And as and when you go low on the capacity, the performance tier, it is 120 operations per second. So these are all the considerations which we need to have when we are choosing this disk. And you can go ahead with advanced, use managed disk. Okay, if you don't want to use managed disk, then again, as I was mentioning, that disk will go and you need to have a storage account. And networking is pretty much we discussed, but we will see everything in action. Load balancing is something we'll park it. So we need a virtual network and we need a subnet to place within the virtual network. You can create multiple subnets, and where you want to place this virtual machine, that depends whether this virtual machine is an UI tier or a middle tier or a backend tier or different tiers, whatever end tier applications it is. And the public IP address, do you need a public IP address or you don't need it? You have to take the call. That depends upon your architecture. And NIC, network security group, will come into that one, and public ports which has been enabled, and select that inbound ports. And the management tool is where you can enable the boot diagnostics, and it will write the logs. We'll see that maybe next or next to next, because we'll go step by step. Let's not hurry. And another key things is we'll keep it like we can do a auto shutdown. That means even though if you create a virtual machine and it is charging 1,000 rupees per month, assuming that it is running 24 hours a day, 700 plus hours in a month, what if we want to do a auto shutdown? So start the virtual machine. A lot of we did those PowerShell scripts in long ago. So around 10 o'clock we are starting the work. Hypothetically, everyone will come and start the work at 10. So the automation kicks in at 9 o'clock, and your virtual machines will be on by 9:10 or 9:15, and you start your work at 10. And 6 o'clock you close your day, and 7 o'clock we are shutting down. So we are reducing the amount of time the virtual machine is up and running. Okay, so in the advanced tools is we can install the extensions. And I want to show you one small proximity also we'll discuss in the next session. I think in the managed one, where we have the site recovery OS guest, and inside this, not this. Okay, so one more thing will be the startup scripts. There will be a separate script for Linux. Uh, I'll get back to you on that one. Okay, there will be that script which will be useful when you are want to do some job at the startup of this virtual machine. Okay, so that's about the brief introduction. We took a tour of that one. Now let's start uh, working on this one, creating Ubuntu virtual machine and installing nginx using the PowerShell. Okay, so a lot of these commands every now and then there are a lot of updates are happening, isn't it? Every now and then the syntax might change or the parameters might change or there might be a breaking change. So whatever the virtual machines which we are creating with the scripts, it is working today. It's not guaranteed that the same command will work tomorrow, because if they push something behind the scene and it is a breaking change, so our scripts will not work. Okay, so what did I do is I did a small kind of improvisation or reordering. So all the scripts which we are using, I'm putting into infrastructure. So PowerShell will be in PowerShell. So we can see that Azure CLI we created and the ARM templates we created. Similarly, here we will have this PowerShell. Okay, let's go ahead and create this first one. And this one also, the rand, get rand and everything which we have seen that. So these are some of the virtual machines. First we will deploy it and then we will speak through those things. So these are the variables which we have created. And the other important thing is the SSH keygen. So what is this SSH keygen is, when we go ahead and create the SSH keygen, it will create the key value pair. SSH is secure shell. Okay, now we are using 4096, and I want to modify or update the existing virtual machine. Please don't do that until unless you are sure. This might break any existing virtual machines which you have created with the previous one. Please create with the new name, but I'm just doing it as this is the sample. Sample $123, sample $123. Okay. So that has created the SSH keys. So where does that SSH keys stay? That SSH keys stays here at this location. I can come and I can do cat on that. So that's my SSH keys, whatever I've created. So if you have the password, if someone is trying to do a brute force attack, they can crack your password. But cracking this kind of things might be a little bit tougher. But I'm sure having these things will be protecting us from different attacks. Okay, so that's we need to generate the key, and better if you want a different keys, create it with the new names, but don't overwrite the existing one. I did it just this is a sample. Okay, the next thing is we are creating the credentials. So just to, in the interest of time, I'm just going little faster. Then we are creating the network subnet config, and then we are creating the AZ virtual network, and then we are creating the public IP address, right? So these three commands will execute step by step, and see that he's warning us. He's saying that the new AZ virtual network subnet config is upcoming breaking changes. So that means today this command is working. If they push that change tomorrow, this command will not work. So we need to ensure that every time this changes. What is very important is the concept. Okay, the syntax will change left, right, and center, but we should be well versed with the concepts. Now we are opening up the ports. We are opening up 80 as well as 22. So 22 is for remoting for SSH and 80 is for web. That means we will install the web server in this. So that's the reason we are opening up the port for the web rule. And 22 is for SSH. So we have punched the hole in the firewall, and we are getting the we are creating this VM config where we are specifying the VM name, VM size, operating system is Linux, and computer name we are giving the credentials, and the source image, publisher name, and offer. And now you can correlate why did we spend 5 to 10 minutes time in this one. You know that because to know the exact names we can use this to find out. Okay, and that I will paste it over here, and that I will paste it over here, and then this one will pretty much will add this the SSH keys. and you can $SSH key. You see that the same SSH key which we did a cat is available here. And after that, we are creating this something related to the boot diagnostics. I just want to explain, if you exclude this error warning, that's when it troubles you, saying that uh, it was unable to find the storage account, and it throws a warning before creating it. But the command will be successful, but it throws an error. So I was doing some reading yesterday, and I found that guy. Yeah, this URL, I found it pretty much helpful uh, yesterday. See, that's the catch we need to understand. Uh, if you come to the bottom of that, so what will happen is, yeah, till here we had it. So if you don't use this one, it throws an warning, yellow color warning. It says that the storage account was not found, and creating the virtual machine by disabling the boot diagnostics. So we need to, he suggested to use warning action silent. I used it. And after that, we can disable the boot diagnostics or create a storage account and attach the boot diagnostics. So we need to use the set VM boot diagnostics. So if you want to disable it. If you want to enable, ensure that you have a storage account so that the boot diagnostics will be captured in that storage account. Okay, that's the catch. It's not a catch, it's a tip which we need to do. See this, you'll get the same output. It creates it, but it throws a warning on our face saying that, hey, I'm not able to create it. Okay, chalo, let's go ahead and see that. I will minimize that. So we can pretty much see all these things. Here we have the virtual machine. Let's go and see things step by step. So we'll see this hard disk. You can come and see this hard disk. So you can see the size and performance. It says that this is the current size. So maximum of 500 input output operations. You need more, you need to bump it up. Okay. So size is 30 GB. So you can see that what is that you have it. And encryption is Microsoft managed platform. It's pretty good. Please stick to that. And networking options at this point of time, we don't need it, but the pretty important point is the size, performance, and encryption. Those two things are very important. So we have gone through it. And then we will go to that virtual network. And here the virtual network, we have the NIC network interface card attached to it. Through this network interface card, it has got a public IP address. The traffic will come through this, the public IP address. Okay. And inside this virtual network, we might have different subnets. So this is a default subnet. I can create a subnet for finance, subnet for IT, or it could be subnet for UI tier, subnet for middle tier, subnet for data tier, or different tiers, and place those respective virtual machines into those subnets. You can see that the default range, what are the IP addresses, and we can go deep into that. That's pretty much AZ-104 series, but a lot of other things are there. You have security, you have DNS servers, and peering, DOS protection. Okay, it's disabled. Protect your public IP resources in virtual network from denial of service attacks. So we might get charged a little bit more, but these features are there. So net, what we understand is we have an OS disk, we have a virtual network that can be divided into different subnets. And we will be assigned with a network interface card. So the network interface card is the one which allows the this traffic into that. Okay, so that's a private IP address, and this is the public IP address. Through this public IP address, we will be able to come into this machine. So I'll do the HTTP. Yeah. Okay, that's the HTTP. It will not work. Let's keep it there. And this NIC has been attached to this virtual machine. So as we mentioned that a virtual machine will have a NIC, network interface card, which will allow this. And we have the network security group. So the network security group is the one where we will allow or deny any traffic. So we have boot diagnostic settings and other things are there. Let's see this network interface card. Inside the network interface card, you will have the network interface card. You have the network interfaces, the NIC, whatever we have seen previously, and it has got the inbound rules. What are the things which are allowed? 2280. And that's it. These are the two things which we punch the hole in the firewall, and this guy is already showing the warning. You open 22, someone can get into your virtual machine. There's a chance. And here the outbound traffic, what are allowed? You can see this allow VNet outbound and allow internet outbound. Only these two. Rest of the things are disabled. And we have this public DNS. You can see this, the IP address, the public IP address is this. At this point of time, we don't have any party listening inside this one. So properties, you can see this, the SKU and some other information which are available. And the final thing is this virtual machine. And we can see this, everything is given here, and the capabilities, the networking, public IP address, and virtual network and subnet. This is a virtual network, and this virtual machine belongs to this subnet, the size of the virtual machine, how many hard disk you have. Azure Spot instance, we said that will come back, and extensions, this will come back in future. And we can see that what the virtual machine, what it has got. So the monitoring and other things are there. We can park it at this point of time. And we saw to a decent extent, we have seen that it has got the NIC and what all the inbound, outbound ports which are available. And you can do a connect. If it is a Windows machine, we can use RDP. If it is Linux, we do SSH. We'll use both. And Azure Bastion also, I think I have parked for future. I didn't? Ooh. Okay. Azure Bastion is for future. Okay. So I think that's pretty much a lot of things which we have covered. I think we didn't leave anything else. Now we can be fully go ahead on action episode. We don't need to switch anywhere. So now what we will do is we'll get the public IP address. Now, till now we were there in the console. We don't know what is happening. Now we went and we looked into in depth, like what is happening, what a virtual machine is, what a network is, what a subnet, what is disk, what is IOPS. We have seen in and out of that, at least to a decent extent. You can consider the 30 foot. So I'm getting the public IP address. This public IP address is here. And next thing is there is a bit of a change where the SSH keys get created. If it is from your local laptop, ensure that you give the path. If it is in this Cloud Shell, it will be this one. Okay, so I'm copying this SSH. We have to see this host name. This we have seen in the episode 1. That means right now I'm in a Cloud Shell that is backed up on one machine. Right now I'm going into the virtual machine. What is the public IP address? I'll remove this. @ this public IP address. Now this will be fun, guys. For next 20 minutes, it will be pretty much fun. I'm clicking on this. I said yes. I want to log into that, and it's asking the password. I'm giving the password. Now you see that previously when I did a host name, it gave me this number. Now I'm inside the virtual machine. Now I do an host name. You see that virtual machine is there, right? That's pretty much. So what do I do is I will go ahead and install the nginx, the default server. Now in the previous session where we deployed the virtual, the application inside the Linux. So somewhere it is getting installed. That means there will be a server which is backed up. That's what we are doing. we installed, we did an apt-get update, and then we are installing the nginx server. So the nginx server will get installed on this virtual machine, and then we'll be able to access the default page of this nginx. So the IP address also, we have seen that. What is this IP address? I think that's pretty much. Let's come back over here and see that. Welcome to nginx. So that means the nginx has been properly deployed. Now I do an exit out of this. Here. So that's the first thing which we did it. We were able to create the Ubuntu VM and install nginx. Its exercise was through the PowerShell. The next we'll create a Windows VM and install IaaS. This also we'll do it through PowerShell. So let's go to the next PowerShell, and I will create these variables again. I think now that we understand, both the exercise has covered a variety of things, folks. So you can please get into the details of that. Like I'm creating the username. The password is no password at 1 to log into this one. Okay. And after that, we are creating AZ new VM. And let's create this virtual machine over here. Now see this, we don't even need, I mean, I didn't give the size, so it is taking standard D2 V3. So it is 8%, it's done. So we can come and see that those virtual machines and other artifacts it will start creating that. So let it go. So it has created. See, it took very less time. Imagine you open a portal and you start creating the same virtual machine. How much clicks you need to do? Click, click, click here and there. So it's automation is predictable, and every time you create it, it comes in. Okay, I clicked the wrong thing. Okay, cool, no problem. So it is coming and creating it pretty much. After that, we need a public IP address. Let's go and grab the public IP address. Okay, we got this public IP address of this. We can go and validate the virtual machine. What's the number? Okay, this one. 9026. 9026. This is the one. This is a virtual machine. Okay, 104, 152.42. So 152.42. That's the one. So let's do an RDP into this. So more choices, use different account, demo user, no password at 1. So we are now logging into that virtual machine. And once that virtual machine is logged in, we can open the PowerShell. Okay, it's logging in over here. And in the meanwhile, what we can try is we can try the same thing. Right mouse click on that, copy, HTTP. Here it's an Ubuntu server. We opened up 80, and this is a Windows virtual machine. Okay, we have the Windows virtual machine. I will go here and start the PowerShell. Okay. Okay. I'll open up the PowerShell. Come back over here. Install feature. Enter. It will take a couple of minutes. It will not take much time. It will be much faster, and we'll be able to access. Now this is IaaS. We'll get into IaaS and configure the website. Everything we'll do it in the next session where we deploy our apps into this virtual machine. Then next episode we can compare and compare between what it takes to deploy an app into virtual machine, what it takes to deploy an app into app service, what are the benefits, uh, and what are the use cases, why do we need it. There might be separate use cases. I have written an algorithm and I don't want that to be in public domain, even though the security has been taken care, but still I don't want to use it for some reason. So whatever the reason it is, you will have your own reasons to host it. So right now we installed it. Now we can come back. You see that previously it didn't display. Now it is displaying the IaaS and this one. So that we have pretty much covered. And what I will do is, in the interest of time, I'll go back here and select everything and click on delete. It takes multiple things, multiple rounds to get deleted. Anyways, I will close it. Now, what do we do? So we did two things. Now I'll go to Azure CLI. Now we can be a little bit faster. Now let's do the Ubuntu one. For some reason, I love Ubuntu. That does not mean that I don't love Windows, but so I paste that. Okay. So the next thing, the SSH keys, everything we do have. So we'll create this virtual machine. It's creating this new virtual machine. We can find out. Okay, the virtual machine name is starting with Ubuntu. Okay, just to save time, I will convert this also into bash. That way what we can do is we can use the other command also to start creating. We did that. So we can come back over here. Now we'll create in another shell. I will go ahead and start creating the Windows virtual machine that is there. And I'm creating that over here. So now this machine has been already created. So we'll switch back and forth. I'm sorry, I'm doing context switching. Now I can get the public IP address of this Linux. So that's public IP address is here in this echo dollar public IP. So that's a public IP address. We can come and validate that. Okay, Ubuntu. Okay, 5914. 5914, right. And we need to open the port 80. We are opening up the port 80. And this time we'll install the LAMP server. Okay, we need to do SSH into that. Come on, okay, cool. Public IP address is that. Let's do an SSH into this. I'm sorry, the command was correct. It was my mistake that I didn't realize. I'm using the variable. So that public IP address S. Okay. Now we are into this Ubuntu virtual machine. What are the, see this Ubuntu 24911, 24911. Okay. What are we going to do in this? We install the LAMP server. You can type the host name and install the LAMP server. Okay, that's installing the LAMP. Apache stack is this? I mean, this one nginx we already tried. We'll try this. Okay, it's long way. In the meanwhile, we'll. Oh, this guy is pretty fast. Wow. See that PHP, Apache. MySQL Server. It's a LAMP stack. Oh, okay, this guy is also done here. I'm doing a context switching. Ensure that I'm not blowing off anything. Opening up the port and this one. Let me execute these two commands so that we'll save time. And then we need to do an MS STS so that I'll. We already did it, so at least we'll go to a decent extent here. Okay, this also has come. Okay, let's exit. This is the public IP address. Let me go to this guy. Copy. P. Saw that? The LAMP server. We were able to do that. And here we have the public IP address. There's a public IP address. This is a public IP address. I'll select, copy, run msts, and the process is same. And the process is pretty much the same. I go in here, use a different choice. Demo user. What is the password I have given? Guard. I should have given some. Yeah. No password at the rate $123. Now this is another virtual machine. We are doing the MSTC. There are remote PowerShell sessions also possible. We used to do it around 2015 and around that time. We used to stay in our local laptop, do a remote PS session into the virtual machines, install softwares and come out. We don't even need to do this STS. We can do it, everything staying at our this thing. Okay, so that's the second thing. Let's go to the last exercise is to, we did this one, Ubuntu with PowerShell, Windows with PowerShell. We did Ubuntu with Azure CLI and LAMP server, and we did create Windows virtual machine. I mean, it's the same. I mean, we'll install it. Don't worry, we'll install it. Okay, this guy is here. Oh, because this is a pretty much powered virtual machine which we have taken. It might not have that much capacity. That's the reason it is slow. The same command, not something new. We'll park it aside. Let's go to the ARM stuff. So this ARM, we'll use it today, and we'll again come back and learn few other tips and tricks on creating this ARM templates. Okay. See that there is tools which has been installed. You do an ARM and just do a tab now. And just do a tab. I already did it, so that's the reason it is not coming. But we saw that when I did a tab, it installed this code block. And everything is there, like resources. If you want to create a resources like STO, RAG, storage, now everything will get, you'll get it as part of the. Okay, we have the parameters and everything will come. We'll look into this in depth in the future episode, but for today, let's go ahead and understand this. So we have deploy and we have parameters. So in the parameters, we have all these things. And the only catch is we need to have the SSH keys over here. So for that, what we can do is pretty much you can come in here and do a cat of that SSH keys real quick. I will come into this now. Where's that? Yeah, cat. Look into the cat. You have it here. So I'm going to the code where I have already uploaded these things. So I can check into this parameters file. You see that it's all there. I think that is that has changed. I think I need to update it. If not, we'll not be able to log in. So this is the latest this thing. I have to copy and now go to this and select it and go and modify. See, that has changed. We will not be able to log in at all, even if we create it. So the close editor. So what do we have as ls cd ubuntu. Here we have these things, and you have the deploy JSON and parameters JSON. So deploy JSON is this one, what all the things which we have to deploy, these resources, and the parameters also we have seen, this we have updated. The only command we have to execute is this one simple command. So here the deployment can be complete or incremental. So complete means it will create as is whatever the resources which you specify in ARM template. If something is extra, it will delete it. If something is less, it will add it. Incremental is it will add only the delta. If the extra resources already exist, it doesn't delete. So you can see those things over here. In this exercise, this also we have seen inbound traffic rules, which we have seen, and the security rules also we have seen. Just go through this documentation, pretty excellent documentation. This also we have done. We have done this. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, folks. So the lot of things they have already given. We don't need to sweat. I'll give you some other tips in the next session on creating. And one important point, yeah, this one we will do it maybe fourth. This is third session, fourth or fifth session we'll do. At this point of time, we are deploying using the template. We are deploying only one virtual machine. So we'll use this 3-tier template where it deploys the virtual machine, app service, and SQL in one go. Okay, let's come back to this one. See this, while we are talking this template and it went and deployed the virtual machine also. Let's go back to this one. You can see something known as a simple VM. Let me search. Yeah, see this, the simple virtual machine. It has been deployed. So I can get into this simple virtual machine. This is the public IP address. Let's try getting into this virtual machine. What is the command? The SSH command. Copy that. Come back over here and delete it. See that? And now whatever you want, we can install, whether you want a LAMP server or nginx, you can install everything. So I think that's pretty much. So let's do a quick recap. What all the things which we did today. So we went ahead and discussed about building blocks of virtual machine, and we looked into how to search Windows virtual machines and how to search Ubuntu virtual machines. Whatever the flavor you want, you can search. And we went and created a Ubuntu virtual machine and installed nginx, and that exercise was done through PowerShell. And another thing is we did the created Windows virtual machine, installed IaaS, and this exercise was done using PowerShell. And the next thing is we created Ubuntu and installed LAMP server using Azure CLI. And we installed Windows virtual machine and installed IaaS using Azure CLI. And we created Ubuntu virtual machine. I think I will stop here. This command is same. I mean, I already uploaded and you have the things here, and just execute this one particular command. And the command also I've given it over here. Just simple command. And then you need to do an MSST and install this. You already seen that. Okay. So that's it from my side for today. Hope you guys have learned something new. And if you have any queries, we can go ahead and discuss. Rashmita, I think we have good number of people even in the festive season.
Yes, Swami.
Serious number. Yeah.
Yeah, good. So we'll just quickly wait for another 2 to 3 minutes. If we don't have any questions, we'll close the session for today.
Oh, I'm really sorry. I need to show what is coming next. I'm sorry, folks. I'm really sorry for that. This shows that I'm also in hurry. Just joking. See, this next we will discuss about actually the security perspective of Azure SQL Server I wanted to discuss today. I'm parking it to next because that's when we connect it to the SQL database from this virtual machine, and from API we'll connect it. So we'll discuss about that, and we'll discuss about what is availability zone, availability set, and proximity, Azure Spot instance, backing up your virtual machine, Azure Bastion, and deployment. I mean, we can expect that to be a minimum 1.5 hours session next time. It will be pretty much jumbo, and there is no slides, no discussions, except these things will be little bit of discussions, or I can park it, but this is pretty much a fully action-packed thing. We will be totally getting ourselves deep into the deep into this virtual machines deployment, and a lot of other action items are there. Okay. Okay. Any queries, folks? Ravi, Somanna, Prasad Kumar, Nitin Kumar. I'm just going by the name it displays. I don't know whether that's your first name or last name. At least Devender Gore, I know that Devender is his first name. Did you ask any query, Prasad?
Okay, Swami, I think we don't have any questions today. So we'll just end the session today. Probably we can continue again. Thank you so much, Swami, and thank you all for joining us today. Please feel free to do event check-in and share your feedback about today's session. And also please visit Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming session. Thank you all once again and enjoy the rest of your day.